Hello, everybody. Welcome to DnDTime Brews. I thought Pete would also say hello at some point in there, but he didn't, and it kind of threw me off.
I'm sorry. I did a big, elaborate hand gesture. You usually do the Brews intro.
It's true. Welcome to DnDTime Brews. This is a fun little thing that Pete and I do sporadically here on the DnDTime channel, where we sit down, we look at some cool magic items, or we create some cool magic items, or race options, or class options, or any sorts of things for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons we homebrew. It's always a ton of fun. We love this kind of stuff. And today, we're continuing a series we started last week with player-submitted magic items that specifically are seasonal for, well, fall and the Halloween season as a whole. I'm very, very excited. It's gonna be good. How you feeling, Pete?
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I was skimming through. I didn't get too deep on any of them, so it's gonna be mostly surprises for me as well. But I saw some very cool ones in the few that I looked at. So yeah, I'm excited to go through these. You guys always bring out your A game. I see some people hanging out in chat. We got Farku, we got Blood Deuce, we got Max Mikester. I'm sure there's older ones, but I only just popped on to be looking at it just this second. So those are the ones I see. Matty Morgs is out there. Hello. Max Mikester says, I wanted to make items with a sad crying face. Well, as always, if you want to get one into the mix before the end of the stream, I'm going to have the workshop open. So if anyone who's interested and didn't get a chance to submit during the week wants to follow the link to our Discord, which is beneath the stream. Jeremy, can you do the cool thing where you make the spectator pop it up?
Discord.
So if you're interested in submitting an item, I'll be monitoring the workshop channel on our Discord. So we'll get some live ones in too, Max. So it's not too late if you would like to.
Yeah, but before we start out, two things I need to say first. First is... Wait, I actually had... Right. If you have a Fable to your character, I'm looking at you, Vasil Zeju and or Xandaril in there, that hasn't signed up for their Fable boss battle, but is eligible, you should probably sign up because we're at 3 of the 4 signups necessary to have a Fable boss battle, and I don't know about you guys, but I would be really into a Fable boss battle this Friday of the 13th. Pete and I were talking a little bit, and we got some cool ideas bouncing around for what that would be. I think it would be a lot of fun. It'd be a really cool fight.
There's probably going to be like that vibe either way, even if it's not.
Yeah, it'll be that vibe. I just think it'd be so much more special for...
Indeed.
Anyway, I think it'd be more... sign up if you got them. And secondly, special thank you to VBunny23 for subscribing for 11 months. Oh yeah, 11 months. One away from a year. Hell yes, VBunny.
Thank you so much, VBunny.
We very much appreciate your support. And yeah, that's a long time.
An eternity.
What happens in a year? I think for 12 months, Pete has to do a little dance. Right, Pete?
For 12, I have to do... For 12 months, I have to do a dance?
Yep.
I will do a little dance specifically for VBunny's 12 months. I promise
no one else?
I promise no little dance every single time.
Jesus, look at this guy.
Also, I'm a complete shill, and if you were like, Pete, please do this thing that isn't too difficult.
Now you've upset Switch by not giving them a little dance.
Yeah, exactly. See, this is the scenario I most fear.
Well, but here's the problem, Pete. You did this, not me. Anyway, let's move on because we need to get started here with the show.
Jeremy's lied to you.
As Pete mentioned, you can go into our Discord server. We put a link in the chat a second ago, and you can add stuff in the workshop if you have an idea that you want to submit. Of course, if you've got thoughts on the items we're going through, please type them in the chat. We're going to be going through, taking community feedback, and taking these beautiful player-submitted items and just giving them a little bit of love to make them perfect for D&D time. And maybe you'll see these items again in the future.
You won't.
Oh,
we're not
going to use these throughout Halloween?
Nope, not for anything.
All right, don't worry about it, guys.
And also, last thing before we get into it, at the end of each of these Wednesday shows, we do a little segment called Ask Pete and Jeremy. So if you have a question, be it related to Dungeons and Dragons or any ridiculous thing that you want to ask us, please submit that under the Ask Pete and Jeremy channel on our Discord, and we'll also take a look at that at the end of the stream.
Yeah, I can see we've already got a couple in, so go ahead, and if you got ideas, throw them in there, and we will answer them at the end.
That is true.
We reserve the right not to answer anything that's too personal. Of course.
Yes, that is true. Also, so are you ready to dive in, Jeremy?
Yeah, let's dive in. We're gonna go through all the items, and we're gonna try to hit one from every person first, and then we'll start going through and doing people's second and third submissions.
Indeed. Hopefully, we'll get to all of them. We did last time, but
yeah,
it's also they're more complicated this time. So
roughly at all of them. Whoopsies.
Yes.
Talk roughly about all of them.
And just as a note, tonight we're doing uncommon items, and I always just like to let it out, when we're evaluating these items, we are evaluating these items in terms of usability in Pete and Jeremy's D&D time specifically. Sometimes there's item concepts that are really great and I would run in a campaign, but they just don't work because of the way Pete and Jeremy's D&D time works with a very short form, one-shots every week, very short time period. Or they, utilize mechanics that we try to shy away from, like, I know summoning multiple things is always a little bit of a tough one in our community. So keep in mind that is how we evaluate these items. So
yeah, let's dive right in. So,
right. Starting
us off, we have a submission by VBunny23. Now, VBunny, I know you get 11 months. You don't get 11 submissions today, 2 per person. This submission is called The Consumable Familiar. Requires attunement. This ordinary pumpkin is known to have a mind of its own. When you place the pumpkin on the ground, it becomes a familiar and functions like the Find Familiar spell. However, it has the statistics of the pumpling from Pete and Jeremy's Pumpkin one-shot last year. If the familiar dies or explodes, everything but the stem of the pumpkin is destroyed. When you use the pumpkin in this way, you cannot do so again until you finish a short or long rest. The pumpkin magically reforms at the end of a short or long rest. All right, we're back on the pumpling again, boys.
The pumpling is a delight, and I love the pumpling. It's as all summons in Pete and Jeremy's D&D time, they're always a little bit funky because having anything that functions as a familiar, a lot of people we have a very strict, for anyone who's unaware, 1 summoned ally rule, be it a familiar, a summoned creature, a mount, like a steed, something like that, at any given time. So a lot of the times it's hard to give these out because people have ones that they're like are very important to them. But I think that this still could work. The way that I would want to do this, Jeremy, and tell me how you feel about this direction, because I don't know if we have time to actually do this, but I would want to pick a baseline familiar creature like a mastiff, but not maybe a cat, something like that. Call it a pumpling, and then just give it the explosion feature.
That is exactly what I was thinking, Pete, because the first thing we have to consider, right, is we can't reference the pumpling. This is something that's just a little too, because we created it for a one-shot last year. I don't even know what the hell the pumpling, I know what it does roughly, but I don't know what it does. Because I don't know where I'd even go to find, I have to dig through some stuff to figure it out. But yeah, I think if we gave it a stat block that exists that, people could look at in the monster manual, and then gave it an explosion feature, I think that would be a really cool way to use this.
Yeah. So, and you could get the flavor that you want, and I think it would work. It just needs that slight adjustment.
Yeah, so I think we could say it requires attunement. And instead of this ordinary pumpkin, this is not an ordinary pumpkin. What do we call this?
Extraordinary pumpkin.
Oh, yeah. This extraordinary pumpkin is known to have a mind of its own. When you place this pumpkin upon the ground, I made it upon instead of on because I like upon more. It becomes a familiar, as though created by the Find Familiar spell. However, and we just say, and uses the statistics of Pete. How do you feel about Twig Blight?
Twig Blight is absolutely fine by me.
I think it's cool because here's the thing: we're looking at an uncommon item, so maybe it should be a little better than a base.
Yeah,
familiar.
no, Twig Blight is non-problematic. That was actually the thing I was also thinking of for a pumpkin enemy, because that's like the lowest CR plant I think that we have.
Yeah, something like that.
That moves.
And I think rather than we call this consumable familiar, maybe we just call it Pumpling or Pumpling Friend. What do you think, Bunny? Let me know in the chat what you think.
Indeed.
So a Twig Blight, when the when the creature, what do we say? When this creature would be destroyed, or when you command it, destroyed. So when this creature be destroyed, it explodes in what, like a 10-foot radius?
I think the
Pumpling
pumpling was only 5, but I don't mind buffing it up a little bit for this. So like basically it's a 1 a day.
Yeah.
Little mini fireball kind of.
Yep. So it explodes in a 10-foot radius, and I think we just say dealing 5 fire damage to each creature within the radius, the area. And we'll just take away this. There's no save. It's just 5 fire damage. Nice and simple. You fine with that?
Yeah, that's fine by me as well.
I think it's low enough that it's not a huge deal, but it's cool because I think the Twig Blight actually has some really cool abilities like false appearance that could make it like a good familiar. All parts of the familiar, but its stem. Oh, we haven't said it's a pumpkin. Oh no, we have. Yep, it's destroyed. When you I think we also want to give it an idea that like you can command it to explode.
Yeah, that's the intent I think as well. When this creature beast or explodes.
So we can just say you can command this creature as a bonus action to explode as a bonus action on your turn. There we go. Oh boy, now it's getting hard. When you do so, it explodes 10-foot radius. We'll say detonator, but that we're not using the same word. The pumpling buddy also explodes if it would be destroyed as a result of taking lethal damage. Oh, if it would be reduced to 0 hit points.
Yeah, that's a better way of phrasing it.
Be reduced to 0 hit points. Boop. Perfect.
And then we only need one. We only need one of these. When you use the pumpkin, you cannot do so again or the pumpkin magically reforms. And I think.
Yeah, I think we just say the pumpkin magically reforms.
The pumpling magically reforms
around its stem.
Each done.
There we go. And actually, it's the pumpling buddy.
Yes.
Cool. And there we go. This does the exact same thing, but with a little less, it's referencing more specific things.
It would be usable by anyone. Now, not necessarily someone playing in DnDTime or that doesn't have access to the pumpling sheet, because I don't know if we do anymore.
No, we do. We definitely have it.
We could dig through the records, but...
I really like this, actually. I like the pumpling buddy.
Yeah, it's cute.
I think I might actually give that to one of my players in one of my other games. All right, let's move on to our next item here. So, great. Pumpling Buddy, you get a great old orange for Halloween.
Which is going to bring us now to our basic Bartholomew brew, submitted by Adrian P. or Switch. This pumpkin and splice blend heals the drinker for 5d6 and removes 1 level of exhaustion as a bonus action. However, it's too good to share. You may not feed this potion to others. The classic pumpkin spice latte was the inspiration here.
That's beautiful.
And it's a simple, it's just kind of a simple healing potion that gives you 5d6 and cures a level of exhaustion if you happen to be exhausted, which is a niche scenario, but if you have it and you're exhausted, then you'll feel very great about it.
The only issue I have is that it's only one consumable. You know?
Yeah.
Normally, when we're going to do consumables for D&D time, we'll do a couple. But maybe just this once, we only have the one. And maybe it's not in the bag. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. I like this just the way it is.
Yeah, if you were putting this in the bag, we would give it a little bit more.
Pack in a
Also, it doesn't really require the thing as a bonus action because of the just a consumable. You drink it, and in D&D time, it's a bonus action to drink consumables. So.
And instead of heals, we say restores 5d6 hit points when.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think removes is actually the correct name for level of exhaustion, but I might be wrong.
That seems correct to me, yeah.
I don't think it's restored for exhaustion. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's good just the way it is.
And it's ready to go.
Yeah, and I like this actually because it's interesting. We have a little bit of flavor right here at the beginning, and then we also end it with a little bit of flavor, and I like that. We can mix the flavor around, really spice it up.
Like a pumpkin spice latte.
Another beautiful item. Thank you, Adrian P.
The next chunk are V-Bunny and Adrian P. Adrian P put a couple of extra ones. You put a couple extra ones, which I'm going to give you a pass on this one because I think they can all be evaluated as one item in a sense. But we'll come back to those when it's time. But first, let's look at the Scared Crow by the Greener Gray. Do you want to take a look at that one, Jeremy?
Oh, yeah. The Greener Gray made the Scared Crow. This crow stands so perfectly still that one could easily mistake it for a prop. Upon touch, it is still warm, and its rapid heartbeat can be clearly felt. It does not blink, and its body is permanently stuck in a standing position. A person can tap its beak 3 times in rapid succession, and the crow will move. Its wings will flare outward, the land will darken, and let out its caw of such sheer terror and fear that creatures in a 15-foot radius must roll a wisdom saving throw as if they had been affected by the fear spell. After that, the crow flies away as fast as it can. This is a very interesting item. I like this quite a bit, actually. It's another one of those consumables.
Consumable. It's a very interesting take on a consumable because I think most people, when they think consumable, they think you finished eating it, you finished consuming it, but this is a very fun kind of variation on that.
So we're just changing a little bit of text here. However, instead of upon touch, upon closer inspection. So that's kind of the terminology used for 5e. But
I mean, this is in a really good spot, honestly.
Yeah, it really is. I actually really love this item.
One thing that I think does need to be specified on this is the DC of the wisdom saving throw. And then probably there's some phrasing around there. What do you think is an appropriate DC for this at a common? 13, I know, is often the standard.
Yeah, and it's interesting. As a one-time use thing, you almost want to make it a 15.
Yeah, 15 would be the...
13 is a typical DC for an uncommon magic item. I think, because it's consumable, I would say 15 would be pretty good.
I can get behind that, sure.
It is a 3rd level spell, pretty good. But yeah, that sounds right to me. And maybe but it's only 15-foot radius, so I don't know. I like this a lot. I feel happy putting that in.
And we're going to just phrase it rather than roll a wisdom saving, so they must succeed on a DC 15 wisdom saving throw. Or...
Yeah.
be put under the effects
Or we could just say be affected by the spell.
of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because it's not actually... Does it cast the fear spell? Or is
No,
it
I
the
think it just
effects of the
you
fear
get
spell?
the.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are usually lowercase. And then, other than that, that's just a couple of semantic issues there. But this was in a great place as it was. I just needed some cleanup on the mechanic there.
So I think as an action,
Yes.
you can tap its beak 3 times in rapid succession, causing the crow to move. Causing the crow to move or to flare its wings outwards. As the land darkens around it, and it unleashes a caw of sheer terror.
And I like it. I think it's going to be fun. I know a lot of people that would very much enjoy just having this. In a sense, this would be an extra summon because it's not really a summon. It's just a magic item that kind of affects you in a sense. But you can have a crow that sits on your shoulder and a familiar, and you'd be fine. At least while you still have the scared crow. I like it as well. Yeah, I think it's a great one. So I think that's going to move us now onto the bag of endless treats.
Oh, I see. I just looked up at Adrian's things.
Yeah,
they're stat booster items.
They can all be adjusted at the same time. Yeah. So the bag of endless treats was one submitted by Farku. A plastic pumpkin bucket that pulls unlimited sweets from the plain, and a couple ideas, plate of sugar, Big Rock Candy Mountains, with absolutely no nutritional value. Not suitable rations. As an action, you may stick a hand into this basket and devour its candy, giving you a sugar rush. You may take 2 additional bonus actions. And then he was suggesting possibly some kind of lethargy afterwards, like on your next turn you can't take any bonus actions. This is a little bit wild in terms of how it works. There's a lot going on here that I personally can't begin to wrap my head around in terms of like what the implications are of going from an action and a bonus action to 3 bonus actions.
Right off the bat, I'm just thinking, what is Big B's hand a bonus action? Or spiritual weapons a bonus action? I know.
Yeah, spiritual weapon commanding a sword to strike, that would be
90% sure Big B's hand's the bonus action too.
So
there are implications to this to have an unlimited scale is the problem.
And the thing that I would be comfortable with putting on an unlimited scale would be maybe not putting a lethargy on it and then making it you can just take an additional bonus action for your action, allowing you to sub out your actions for bonus actions if you're interested in doing that. Because that's always a mechanic that I thought was like a little wonky in 5e, honestly, is that like you can't
it's hacky.
You can't take 2 bonus actions. And I'm fine with that being like, I would be okay with that mechanic. I don't think there's anything inherently dangerous about it. You're just kind of like taking an inferior action.
Let's see what we can do, because I like this item a lot.
I do as well.
So this plastic pumpkin bucket pulls unlimited sweets and candies from a magical realm. Rather than being specific to Big Rock Candy Mountains, otherworldly, or rather than magical, whimsical. I like that because this way it's a little more ambiguous if you want to use this in your own campaigns.
You can make up your own lore for it as well.
The candy has absolutely no nutritional value. I think that is the last word in the...
Yeah.
That's how we end it. We can just say, as an action, you may stick your hand into the basket and devour its candy. We'll just say devour. Its candy contents. Giving you a sugar rush. for the next minute. What do we want to say? While you're under the effects of a sugar rush. Effects of a sugar rush.
For a minute. I don't actually know what direction you're going now.
Yeah, right. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to make it like
I was saying,
for the next round? Because it's an action to eat the candy.
Yeah, so I think the idea was you were exchanging. The original idea was it was just a theoretically equivalent exchange of an action for 2 bonus actions, and then there was like the crash afterwards, which I don't know if we want to actually add the crash in or not.
Well, what if? Because I want this to be a good option too. I don't want this to just be I trade my action for a bonus action. That's all the item is. So what if it's like until the end of your next turn, you may take an additional bonus action, right?
So you're saying you trade your action now for 2 bonus actions
for a bonus
turn?
action on this turn and 1 on next.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think there's anything inherently. I don't think there's anything inherently problematic with that. I would just want to gate it if we did that with a number of uses. I wouldn't want that to be unlimited. Yeah,
I'm with you on that. So we can just say use it once per day. We don't call it an attunement item or anything, and we leave it at that. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that personally.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm on the fence about not calling it an attunement item, but
at 1 extra bonus action, I mean, it turns out to 1 bonus action for an attunement item. But that's your net gain is 1 bonus action.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm on the fence.
So I think
because anything that's just like a strict kind of buff like that. It's a complicated one for sure.
We're gonna hit that one with the purple of Pete and I will come back to this because we need to really look at the mechanics.
Yeah, I love the concept of it. It's just such a funky mechanic when you action economy is the most dangerous thing I think to affect.
Second, I mean, there's action economy, raw stats, and then those, and then spell save DC. In order, I think those are the top 3 of these are dangerous to screw around with on, especially uncommon magic items.
Warlock slots are another scary one.
Yeah, that comes probably 4th
it's after
spell save DC. Anyway, let's move down to our next item here: the bag of tricks and treats.
There's a lot of homages to various
tricks.
Well, I'm saying just to classical magic items in this round.
The bag of tricks and treats submitted by Reflected 10. This ordinary bag made from orange cloth appears empty. However, reaching into the bag, however, reveals the presence of a small squishy object. You can use an action to pull the squishy object from the bag and throw it up to 20 feet. When the object lands, it transforms into a creature that you determine by rolling a d6 and consulting the table. The creature vanishes at the next dawn or when it is reduced to 0 hit points. You only have 1 creature created by this at a time. Ooh, you're thinking about DnDTime, Lance. Thank you. The creature is friendly to you and your companions. It acts on your turn. You can use a bonus action to command how the creature moves and what action it takes on its next turn, or to give it general orders, such as to attack your enemies. In the absence of orders, the creature acts in a fashion appropriate to its nature. Since once 3 fuzzy objects have been pulled from the bag can't be used again until the next dawn. Zombie, and these are what the items are: skeleton, zombie, skeletal warhorse, shadow, ghoul, and specter. Interesting.
For anyone unfamiliar with the bag of tricks, this is
a beautiful homage.
Yes, this is an homage to that item. It is a magic item where you throw out fuzzy puffballs and they transform into random animals, and it's very kind of chaotic and goofy. And it does have an extra limitation on it, which was, I think, put in specifically for DnDTime, as Jerry mentioned, which is you only can have 1 at a time. And then it's all spooky, scary skeletons and ghosts and ghouls and specters.
Sending shivers down your spine.
Indeed. And consider me shivered.
Action to pull a thing. Yeah, I like this a lot. I think that the specter might be a little much.
I think that the specter is a little bit much especially if you can throw 3 of them out per day.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Ghoul and Spectre are both CR1 versus the CR1 half that everything else is.
The reason I'm just a touch reticent on the Bag of Tricks design on the whole, just for D&D time, is like the complications of having these stat blocks, and for players that aren't familiar with it and having to have like, this is one that's just a little bit of a pain for myself and Jeremy to kind of run anyway. In terms of, and I think that number 1, if we're going to do that, is the Crawling Claw.
That's exactly what I was putting in there.
Oh, nice.
We're right on the same page, Pete. Yeah, I think we put the Crawling Claw in there. We don't worry too much about the other ones. Shadows and Ghouls are both very good. I don't think we can put the Ghoul in there because of the paralysis.
It's
so
the paralysis
strong.
that would be the thing.
That's a really hard one to rationalize. The other ones I'm cool with.
Yeah, everything else is fine. The Skeletal Warhorse is a great one. I love that pick. We just have to look over the to make this work. I think I will, for one thing, say I think the design on this is near perfect. It's very much. I mean, it uses a lot of the language of the Bag of Tricks.
Excellent reference. I would say roll a d4 and we just get rid of the Shadow and Ghoul, because the Shadow and the Ghoul both they could be problematic.
I agree. I would like to have it be 6 options, and when we go back and look at some of these, I would like to maybe find some more if we can.
The Shadow's okay. It's just the Ghoul, I think.
Yeah, the Shadow is better. The Shadow can be really devastating because of the strength drain is brutal. It's just more situational than the all-purpose Ghoul paralysis.
Well, but here's the thing, Pete. In the absence of your orders, the creature acts appropriate to its nature. That's really bad for the evil things. This has a lot more baggage in the Bag of Tricks.
It does require you to use your bonus action every turn to control it.
Well, if you go down, then you're also fighting. Yeah,
I mean, there's that as well. But I feel like you have to assume most of the time the best case scenario with it.
Of course, yeah. I'm just saying it does have a little bit more.
I agree with the do 4, and then maybe if we can, take some time and think about it, and we come up with some others that are a little bit more in line. That we could.
Yeah, I see a question in chat for the Null Witherling, which is a creature from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. I'm sorry, it's Volo's Guide to Monsters. We could do that. That might not be bad.
That's not a bad option. It's not a bad option. It's a little bit less generic feeling than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
It feels a little like flavor specific. But Crawling Call, I'm with you on that, Maddie. I think that's one of the funniest ones to pull. Yeah, I think we just take them out, call it a 4, and then if we come up with anything else that works later on, we can mess around with it.
We only play online. It's a D5. That's the trick.
Oh my god.
Boom.
Get out of here with that.
Wrap it.
I don't know. We'll talk about it. All right.
We'll just have 1 and 2 both be Crawling Claws. Are you happy now? I'm more happy now?
I'm more happy now, yeah.
All right. I still like the D5. Maddie
right.
Morgan, I can see, was harmed by my suggestion. Who are we at now? Ooh! An item from D Forgotten One. Pete, take it. Oh, wait.
Oh, it was Crowley. I just
from Crowley.
Changed the name.
Take it away, Pete.
That is the Punkin' Chunkin' Sling. This is an item that requires attunement twice. Some typos on this one. That's not Crowley's fault. That is mine. This magical sling allows you to generate and hurl pumpkins long distances. You gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this item. Additionally, the sling does 1d12 bludgeoning damage instead of a sling's normal damage. The ammo for the sling is generated when you make an attack roll. It is a pumpkin, and the range is 750 over 2,000 feet. On a critical hit with this weapon, the target is also knocked prone. When making an attack with this weapon, your arm automatically moves in a trebuchet-like motion.
I think we're good. Pack and wrap it.
I mean, Sling has loading, right?
No.
It doesn't?
No way. Slings don't have loading. They have ammunition, but they don't have a loading.
It seems like it should.
Pete, I think I got this. It's a -1 weapon.
I think that
I haven't seen that there.
I think that this item is designed in a completely acceptable way. I just think it needs to be like a rare item. Like think of it this well. It's a +1 better than D12 non-heavy longbow. That does more damage than a longbow.
So would you say this?
Way more range.
I moved the trebuchet-like motion up to the front. And then we should hyphenate trebuchet-like. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with this. Yeah, it's the D12 that kind of scares me a little bit, but it's a +1 weapon. It definitely, I think, would be under the rare category or very rare just because of the range.
Yeah.
Is the problem.
If it was...
I'm wondering, did you actually just take the range from the trebuchet?
I think that is...
No, a trebuchet is 300, 1200. Why did you pick 750, 2000? I mean, it doesn't matter at that point, to be frank.
Farfalse says D10 would probably be fine, but it is a pumpkin being shot up to like half a mile. No, I mean, I'm with you. The damage made sense to me. The damage absolutely made sense. I just think it needs to go up in rarity. I just don't think it could be.
Yeah, it's not an uncommon item.
Yeah. And I honestly, I like the design.
Range.
I like the design. It's very funny.
So, all right. So we've changed the range. It's now a trebuchet range. Perfect. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's just this is a rare item.
Yeah.
This might even be a very rare just because of that range.
I could be convinced in that as well. Oh, I mean, not just the range.
I'd rather call it very rare and give it a +2 and have that range. That, like, I just don't super feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, the thing that needs to be mentioned is it doesn't say it, but this item does not have the ammunition feature. It just works because it summons the things.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's clear in flavor, but it might need to be mentioned on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even know what the ammunition property really is.
It just means you need to have ammunition to use it, which this does not need you to have.
So we'll just say, additionally, as soon as you instead of things normal damage.
Oh wait, no, it says it. Okay, the ammo for this sling is generated when you go to make an attack.
Yeah, we'll just say we'll has a range of feet. And
I missed that line.
The ammunition property. There we go. I think at this point it might even be easier to not call it a sling, but I think part of the goofiness is that it's a sling.
Yeah, I think that's just more for fun than, and I don't want to crush that flavor.
+1 and rare, or +2 and very rare?
I think +2 and very rare is closer to the.
You got a pumpkin chunkin' sling.
Yeah, it's a very good weapon.
I love this. This is beautiful.
I do as well. So I think that's going to move us on next to the Welcome's Taken Cornucopia by Manymorts.
I was going to say, Blood, don't you worry about being slow, bud. As long as it's in by the end, we'll take a look at it in the workshop.
Indeed, we will.
All right, where were we at?
We're going down to the Welcome's Taken Cornucopia. Do you want to take this? Is this one of yours? I think it is.
All right, the Welcome's Taken Cornucopia, submitted by Manymorts. Uncommon. This wicker cornucopia of halfling design provides some number of individual magical fruits or veggies. While holding the cornucopia, you can use an action to reach into the item and pull a snack from it to share with a creature of your choosing, casting the enhanced ability spell with it. When the fine mini meal is shared, the Welcome Taken Cornucopia disappears, leaving behind a tiny, mundane gourd, appearing as happy halfling harvest god.
Aww. I love that. I love that flavor. This is just a very pleasant item.
Appearing as, you mean in the shape of?
I think that's the intent, yeah.
Maddie's saying, under notes, if the hour is too long, or need to concentrate, or lack of need to concentrate, Well, it says you cast the enhance ability spell, which means you would have to concentrate. Rules is written.
Yeah. Also, we don't get italics. I always want to put spells in italics instinctively, and then remember.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
They don't work. I don't know.
Also, Farfel, no need to resubmit the item right now. This was clean enough as it is. We've got it.
Yeah. No sweat.
Yeah, so with the cornucopia, I like this a lot. And enhance ability is one of those spells that even if you get a lot of it, because you're helping other people, and it's specific that you help someone else, right? You target another creature. I'm not too worried about making it too good. Plus, it is consumable.
Yeah.
You only have a certain number of these.
I love that little piece of flavor at the end. 10 seems right to me. I like that number.
I think you get 10. Now, while holding the cornucopia, you can use an action to reach into it. So reach into it and pull forth a snack. I'll say a healthy snack to share with a creature of your choosing.
I'm gonna yes and you and say a hearty snack.
Done. So here's the thing: it's a share with a creature. Does both you and the target?
I don't think that's the intent. I think it's just share as in like not. I think it's just share as in give to, but not. You both gain the benefits.
I kind of like the idea that you both do. That sounds really fun to me. Because you're sharing.
If you want to do it that way, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it.
Yeah. Now, which benefit do you gain? Because we need to say of your choosing there, right?
Yeah, well, I think that was why the original phrasing was you cast it. Because then you're casting the spell and you get to pick as if you were casting the spell. And that's probably a cleaner way to do that. Because then it would be you gain the benefits of, I guess you could say, an enhance ability effect of your choosing.
You gain the enhance ability. You cast an enhance ability spell. Targeting the creature. Cool. Well, I kind of liked that it didn't have attunement. I mean, not attunement. Sorry, it wasn't. I guess it's just 10 free castings of enhance ability indefinite.
Yeah.
That's pretty okay.
It's good. Yeah, I don't think you need the.
I like this. This is a very nice, uncommon magic item.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's right in that range. 10's a good number for it. You leave behind. Maddie Morgs, you're hitting me right in the flavor receptors where everything I love, you've combined like perhaps my two favorite things, which are Thanksgiving and halflings.
And I'm seeing there's a lot of concepts down here about like, D6s maybe slowing things down, and I totally feel you that.
Yeah, I know. I think you had it right where you had it. That was a weird sentence.
Just enough juice.
Agreed. I really like that item. That's, like I said, right in my personal wheelhouse of being like, I would be very excited to have this item.
Also, not the spoopy. This is great. We're having some not. Oh, and then you have the Reaping Crescent right after it, of course.
Well, that's a Maddie.
Of course.
We'll come back to that one because first we're going to look at the Choker of the Dullahan, and we're getting down close on time. So we're going to do this one in the Zombies Cloth, and then we're probably going to go back do our lightning round again. We
also have one from I think Blood or maybe Max in the.
I have not. I have that one from Max already there. Blood hasn't submitted that one yet, but if you get it in before Zombies Cloth, we can probably do a full one still. Blood.
Yep. So we're gonna do again one for each person in the lightning round. So Choker of Dullahan, you want to read it, Pete?
Yes, the Choker of Dullahan. This jet black choker has a metallic sheen and has a sinister, smiling pumpkin set upon the front. Your head, however, detaches and must be carried. You may still communicate as though your head was attached. While attuned to this choker, you have resistance to necrotic damage. Additionally, your head is detached from your neck. You have to carry your head with you, though you may handle it in ways unlike before. You cannot wield anything in more than one hand at a time. All right.
This is a little wordy, and by that I mean it just kind of is a little repetitive. I love the idea.
I agree. has a metallic sheen.
So we're going to say,
flavor.
I was going to say, while attuned to this choker, you have resistance to necrotic damage. Additionally, your head becomes detached from your neck. Yeah, that's all we have to say. Requiring you to carry it around. And I don't think we have to add that, although you may handle it unlike ways before. Well, I mean, evidently, you've never carried your head around. We can stay detached. So I don't think we need to say that, because, like, what if you want to put your head in a backpack? You know?
I think I mean, you would be blind.
Yeah. And yeah, I think we can just say, is there a benefit to having your head detached besides, like, being clever with it?
No.
I think what we can just say here, right? So long as you use at least one hand to hold onto your head, you do not suffer any adverse effects. Now, this is weird, right? Because there's a little GM discretion here.
I think, like, I would honestly rule this as your head becomes detached from your neck.
Harmlessly detached from your neck.
Yeah.
Perfect. The term harmlessly is what it was missing. Is there a distance it can be?
I think the answer is probably no. I don't know if there's any need to complicate it. I don't think there's any, like, real threat of having your head at a long distance, because then your head's at a super long distance. I think maybe if we wanted to say a distance thing, I think.
And your head.
I think while your head is, I think you could say while your head is 30 feet from your body is considered blinded and deafened.
Yeah, there we go. Wait, within?
When your head is without 30 feet.
All right. Perfect. Glitches would love this item. I'm with you, Switch. I think they would. And do we want to say something about, decapitate, while your head is detached in this way, you are immune to decapitating effects of the Vorpal Sword or other similar abilities. I want to put that on here.
It's extra as hell, but why not?
I like that.
Very good.
Spells and magical effects. Beautiful.
In that case, let's move on to the zombies cloth. Jeremy, you want to take us away on that one?
I was going to say, if Frog's loving that little bit of extra, I'm also loving that little bit of extra.
Yeah, it's cute.
All right, the zombies cloth, submitted by Swordco here. A horrendous smelling cloth shirt taken off the corpse of a zombie. Strangely aggressive zombies and other undead seems to ignore. Strangely aggressive zombies and other undead seem to ignore you one more, as if they see you as one of their own. While wearing this cloth, all undead creatures will ignore you as a target. You still appear normally to non-undead creatures or undead with true sight. If the undead are being controlled by a creature that you can see normally, the undead can still be ordered to attack you. Maximus Tinticus, tired of his village's constant zombie problem, toiled endlessly to stop the attacks or to find some way to repel them. One fateful night, he had an epiphany and thought, if you can't beat him, join him. And quickly went to work taking the soil chert off a doubly deceased zombie and alchemically mimicking the odor. On the eve of the next zombie attack, he bravely donned the disgusting garment and walked among the undead unharmed. Unfortunately, Maximus soon met his fate at the hands of a pack of ghouls who thought he was.
Always the little stories at the end. I love it, Sword.
So, conceptually, there's a huge problem here. And that's I'm not mechanically. Conceptually, I love it.
Yeah.
A shirt that smells like zombie that protects you against mindless undead. The problem here is ignore you as target is,
it's too broad. It needs to be, like the quickest way I can think of doing this the way you want it to would be a sanctuary spell that affects only undead
below a certain intelligence.
Yeah.
It'd be like undead creatures with intelligence less than 6 are you order the sanctuary spell for attacks attacks made by undead with an intelligence lower than 6. I think that would be like the flavor. I don't think that's an uncommon item.
Yeah, it's it might bump up. It might be on the high side of uncommon, especially definitely an attunement. Definitely an attunement item.
I think that works actually. Do we want to go with that?
I think the answer is yes, but I think we highlight it purple for now as we're getting real close to time and we got to whip.
Yeah, and this is definitely a much more complicated item. I'm just going to give some notes below that.
In that case, let's get moving on to the Shield of Fright, which was submitted by Max Meister. The Shield of Fright. This shield has the face of a demonic being on the front, capable of terrifying even the bravest of opponents who dare get too close. This shield has a +1 magical bonus to AC. If an enemy makes a melee attack against you, regardless of whether it hits or misses, you may use a reaction to try and instill fear into the attacker, with the shield as its face glows and shrieks. The attacker must make a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw, or become frightened of you for 1 minute. They repeat the saving throw at the end of their turn to try to break free from this effect. The ability has 3 charges and regains all charges at dawn.
Yeah, I like it, but the but there is it a reaction? It's a reaction.
It is a reaction.
So you can only use it once.
Per round, yeah.
A +1 shield, is by default rare.
Yep. This is definitely more powerful than an uncommon item.
Yeah, and then it has a pretty... it's a low DC on the fear effect, but it's no action economy fear. So, this is on the rare, maybe even very rare side.
Yeah, I think that the design is good on it. I think the design is very solid here.
I like it, and I think even just as it is, it's actually good. The first thing I was worried about was, it'll slow down the game, but then I realized that you put charges on it, which that keeps it from doing that. So.
And the 3 charges, I think you, technically there'd be a notation there where you'd want to say this item has 3 charges, you may expend a charge to do the thing, and then at the end of it put the regains all charges at dawn, but it's very clear what you wanted it to do there. If I received this item, I'd understand exactly how it works.
Yeah,
it's all convention, which we would probably fix there. But yeah, I think it's a very cool item.
I like it a lot.
Just needs to come up in Rarity. Which
I'm sorry, I'm getting notes on my Sanctuary because I had 2 A's in it. There you go, Halo. All right, what's our next one? The Phantom Kopesh. -1 Battle Axe. Submitted by Bloodus. Uncommon. -1 Battle Axe requires attunement. This shimmering bronze Kopesh exists simultaneously on the material and ethereal plane, making it difficult to wield. This Kopesh can target ethereal creatures and ignores half cover. Additionally, while holding this Kopesh, you can use an action to cast a Gentle Repose spell with it. The Kopesh can't be used this way again until the next. Interesting.
The old -1 battle axe. I've given people -1 weapons before.
So, hitting ethereal creatures, because I think you can't see ethereal creatures normally.
Yeah, you would have to know that they were there, but if you did, then you could attack them.
I think what
And
we would
damage them at
say
the ethereal
along with
plane.
this is like, I think you can see out to the ethereal plane for 5 feet.
You want to put that on it?
Yeah, I do. I think
Yeah,
that's
I'm
really
I'm
cool.
fine with that. Especially as it's a
Or maybe
minus.
maybe even 10 feet.
I like 5 feet because we want to keep it uncommon, and we don't want it to be like you see into the ethereal. Like I like bundling it all as a package. And I feel like we want to keep it uncommon if we can.
How much more powerful is it though to be like 10 or 15 feet to just the ethereal plane?
I don't know. I really like the 5 feet personally.
But the idea, right, is like they go into the ethereal plane, they run away, and it's like, ugh. You know?
I like the idea of the 5 feet. Like, I think 5 feet is more fun than 10 or 15 feet because it's like very much you're like creeping around with each step. Like, oh, there's the ghost. Like, I think that's more fun.
In DnDTime, I'm not sure.
I
think like
don't
on a
see
Roll20 battle map.
I don't
maybe?
see where it makes an in particular difference because in DnDTime it would essentially be the same.
They'd be
It
identical.
would be even more vague.
Okay. So I think what we're going to do here is, because we are short on time, add C into ethereal plane. And I spelled ethereal wrong. Between 5 and 15 feet to be discussed later.
But the -1 battle axe is funny.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, I do as well.
I almost want to call it, instead of difficult, complicated to wield.
Yeah,
I feel like
sure.
complicated is a good word for that.
And also, we would phrase the -1 battle axe as we do the full. This battle axe receives a -1 penalty to attack and damage roll, so on and so forth.
Exactly. We'd take the same text that I think kind of like the Max used on the Shield of Fright, or I think there was another item we looked at earlier.
The sling had it.
Thank you, all of you, for your awesome submissions. Pete, it's time. We have 1 minute left for the lightning round. We're going to take a super quick glance at the remaining items, talk about, how they're looking, what we would change, and then, we're going to move on to our segment where Ask Pete and Jeremy. You want to take the whole lightning round yourself, or do you want me to take the whole lightning round? Or do we want to switch up?
I was going to say we just switch off on items, but I feel like we don't need to do each item both.
What?
I feel like we don't need to both do each item.
The Bookie Mask. Requires attunement. This magical sheet, when worn, makes you look like a spooky ghost. Oh, it's the Bookie Mask. Boo. I gotcha. Well, wearing this mask, the user can see and hear like normal, although its eyes and mouth are concealed by the mask. Additionally, while attuned to the mask and wearing it, the user gains a +2 to deception and intimidation checks to scare someone or to convince them they are a ghost. Once per long rest while attuned to the mask, the user can cast a spell Cause Fear without needing material or somatic components with a DC of 15. The user does not need magic to use this mask in this way. When the mask is used to cast a spell, the mask can be used again until the end of a long rest. Pretty good.
Yeah, fine.
I mean, that's
I might make the DC 13, but
yeah, as an uncommon item, I think the DC would be 13. I don't know if this is even but I guess because of the deception and intimidation, I think it'd be an attunement item. But I think if it were just the Cause Fear, maybe it wouldn't be an attunement item. Anyway, moving on. Maybe. Pete, take on the three.
Yeah, I'll take on the triumvirate here. We have the Wise Witch Hat, the Charming Charisma Charm, and the Debaucherous Dexterity Device. These items
love that name.
Yes, the Debaucherous Dexterity Device in particular is good. And all of these can be, they're more or less the same. The black conical hat with a wide brim sets the user's wisdom to 19 while worn, is the Wise Witch Hat, and the others do the same thing for charisma and dexterity. These are references to the headband of intellect and the gauntlets of ogre power, which are uncommon attunement items which do the same thing for strength and intelligence. The reason why I don't think these work quite the same way is because these are specifically better stats to have this on. I think all of these stats are significantly more versatile than strength and intelligence. Like intelligence in particularly, there's one class that scales with it, with a wizard. There's no real benefit to having kind of like an oft intelligence. Like in particularly, dexterity is an extremely dangerous one to just give people a 19 in, because that affects so many different things, as opposed to strength, which is just to hit, and intelligence, which is just the skill checks, and athletics for strength, but that's not too much.
Blood was mentioning, I think wisdom is on par with intelligence. Absolutely not. Insight and perception are
Uh,
two of the most tested skills in the game.
Additionally, it has more niche benefit with things like the monk, which scales off of wisdom as well. In an armor class sense, there's other areas in which wisdom
a lot
matters.
of DCs for wisdom.
Yeah.
That being said, I think I don't know. I think the Gauntlets of Ogre Power. I think there's an argument made that Strength is actually really good. Not anywhere near as good as Dex. But,
yeah, I think that's fair. You could say it for strength.
Yeah, these are just insanely good as secondary stats for the wisdom and charisma. So unfortunately, these guys are going to be getting the red because, well, this is just not. That's not the kind of thing that we.
I think the key thing about strength is if you're building strength, you wanted it anyway.
Yeah. You don't. You know, there aren't a lot of secondary things that would benefit from these, but a lot of classes have secondary wisdom or secondary charisma, and everyone in the game super benefits from dexterity.
Dexterity is huge. All right, cool. So let's talk about the instrument of the bards, the saxophone. I think I can just summarize because this is an instrument of the bards, but a specific one for the saxophone. Anyone unfamiliar with that?
I just got that. Saxophone.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And so it's, I think, just a bony saxophone that you can do the instrument of the bards thing with. And what that is they have a bunch of spells, and once a day you can cast one of those spells with a set DC, and then it happens. The standard ones that all the instruments of bards get are fly, invisibility, levitate, and protection from evil and good. And then the ones that they added were unseen servant, ray of enfeeblement, and animate dead for the saxophone. I like it. Yeah, I do as well. Are instrument of the bards generally uncommon?
They're of all sorts of rarities. They're very varying.
I just didn't know if there were any uncommon.
Really good items.
It just depends. We'd have to think about what the rarity is and evaluate the spells. But I like it.
The reason they're so good is because they're just for bards. You know, bards are one of those classes that kind of assume that you're going to get it.
Yeah.
The only qualm I have here is the animate dead. I guess it summons one creature when you do it, right?
Yeah, it's less problematic when you. Yeah. It's like the spell animate dead is an issue, but not like if it's you can one a day animate dead.
I would say this is perfect as is. Right?
Yeah, it's good. Maybe the only thing there I might want to talk is rarity, but I don't know. We'll come back.
I don't know. I mean, compared to the other instruments of the bards, this is pretty on par for uncommon.
I was also just thinking, like, the DC and stuff like that for.
I don't know. What's the DC?
Ray of Enfeeblement. I don't know how that, like.
Ooh, maybe that should be 13.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The Sneezy Ghost was one from Farku. You want to take this one, Jeremy?
Yeah, and Farku, we did look at your other item already. Which one was that? The Bag of Endless Treats. That one was very complicated, but we're going to look at the Sneezy Ghost for now. Pop! You can use a bonus action to open up the container of this ghost and have it sneeze ectoplasm on everything in a 30-foot cone in front of you, revealing invisible creatures and beings on the ethereal plane.
I love this item. I think it's great to go as is. You just take out the question mark.
Yeah, no, I mean...
actually, I would put a caveat. I would actually want to make it a one a day so it doesn't completely invalidate an encounter, but just have it as a niche, like, I can reveal invisibility and, I think that's cool. So I'd want it to be once a day. But other than that, cut it, print it. And if you're going to change that, I'm going to read the Scythe of the Harvest, which was an item submitted by the Greener Gray, requires attunement. This scythe is ancient and overgrown with vines and leaves that wrap around its rotting hilt, the blade covered in rust. It is a versatile weapon that deals 1d4 slashing damage, but can be wielded two-handed to deal 1d8 slashing damage. When a being is killed by this weapon with a critical strike, the critical strike must be the killing blow. The vines extend from the shaft of the scythe and infest the corpse, bringing it back as a zombie under the owner's control, as long as they continue to hold the scythe.
Oh, jeez.
Righteous. I like the flavor. I think it's very cool. I think that the only thing it needs is the limit of you can have one zombie at a time. That's just how DnDTime works.
I don't think that's really an issue for. outside of D&D time.
Yeah, no. And if it was just you could just keep getting an army of it, I would probably make it higher powered. But in D&D time, I think it's fine as an uncommon item.
Now, the issue I have is versatile. So that's it. I see.
It's just the versatile property.
Yeah, it's just how that would be phrased. Yeah, but I'm with that. Yeah, I like this.
I think it's 1d4, and then you'd say versatile in parentheses 1d8 would be the thing. But I don't think we need to specify that
instead
there.
of kill to be reduced to 0 hit points, but otherwise, I mean, this is pretty prime.
Yeah, and it's on a critical. It's on a critical strike too. So like, it's not. Yeah, I like it as well. I think it's cool.
Like it.
Cool flavor. I really like the description of the blade there.
Might even give it a +1.
I would consider that as well. Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Especially because it's like a D4 is a kind of a suboptimal. So yeah.
I made it purple just so that we can come back and fix a couple of little phrases. But otherwise.
Do you want to do the Smashing Pumpkin, Jeremy?
Yeah, the Smashing Pumpkin presented by Crowley. Uncommon. The head of this mace looks like a slightly glowing jack-o'-lantern. This mace grants a +1 bonus to attack and damage. Any damage with this mace deals to doors, windows, or gourds is doubled. While holding this mace, you can, as an action, create a 20-foot square of difficult terrain filled with pumpkins. When a creature enters the difficult terrain for the first time on its turn, it must make a DC 13 dexterity saving throw or fall prone, tripping on the pumpkins. The mace can be used this way until the next dawn. Wait, the mace can only be used in this way until the next dawn. Oh no.
There's a cleanup. I know Crowley knew exactly what he wanted to say, but it was just a flub.
No, he just wants it to only be able to make pumpkins once you create a pumpkin.
It can only be. So presumably it can never be used this way again because it was made a long time ago, and now the next dawn has already passed.
Well, all right, let's see.
My only thing is I would want to make this an attunement item.
Yeah, I mean, the wording's a little bit clunky, but I think the flavor is great. You know, instead of pumpkins, what is it? Virulent pumpkin patch.
Yeah, I mean, we could.
But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I would just want to do requires attunement.
Yeah, I dig you.
Great.
And don't worry, Crowley, it's all good, my dude. Just gonna, and actually, I'm gonna put a little note under the side.
Yeah, like I was saying, I know Crowley knows how to do that phrasing. Just a flub there. And then the Reaping Crescent was submitted by Maddie Morgs. It is a sickle. This sickle is a magic weapon. It has 3 charges. While you carry it, you can use an action and expend 1 charge to cast Speak with Plants. The sickle regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn, and critically damages plant-type creatures on an 18 to 20. I think that is chill. I think, and you also mentioned and Florins, which I think in D&D time we'd add, it critically strikes Florins as well. I
like this a lot.
I do as well. I think it's ready to go. Let me read the notes. Some of the notes were that it's based on the Trident of Fish command, just some discussions of balance. And I agree with all of your balance ideas. I think that you got it dead on, Maddie, on this one.
Reflecting tonight, you did miss the saxophone, and it was beautiful.
Yes, it was.
We just gave that the orange going right in there. Beautiful.
Indeed.
I really like this Reaping Crescent, by the by.
We just phrase it to talk about scores a critical hit on a roll of 18 to 20 when attack. We'd phrase it like that, but
yeah.
But it's good to go.
I'm gonna give that the purple and minor rephrasing. Is that a 2-minute? Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a 2-minute item. Jangle's Bones.
Do we think is that a reasonable attunement? I almost want to put a +1 on that too.
Maybe we can look at it later. I agree that it might be worth it. Do you mind if I do this one? I know I did the last one, but it's Jangle Bones.
Pete, I think you can do Jangle's Bones.
Wriggling magical bones that once belonged to Jangle Bones. Philip Q, for anyone unfamiliar. While he's replaced the missing parts since losing them, they still have a sliver of power that can detect any nearby undead and point in its general direction. Using a bonus action, the player can hold the bones in their hand, and it will magically detect any nearby undead creatures up to 150 feet, even behind cover. Jangle Bones can also use them to locate you if you happen to be nearby. That's Jangle's Bones. During the Nightmare Court incident, Jangle Bones had unfortunately succumbed to their power, but was freed from their influence at the cost of his body. Though he's since replaced his body, some of his bones turned up scattered throughout Central City and still quiver in the detection of any nearby undead. Jangle Bones shivers every time they're used nearby.
You go first.
I want to put a caveat on this, that whenever anyone makes an item that ties in directly to a character that me or Jeremy make in D&D time and is like lore for that character, we're always like a little bit like we judge them differently, and sometimes like items like that will be like, oh no, I don't like this because it kind of messes with our concept of the character. I love this. It's totally, I'm totally cool with this being true and 100% in the canon for Jangle Bones. Indeed.
All I was gonna say is the concept of a magical bone that kind of like rattles a little bit when other undead are near, just like that, just
really
even
good.
Without the context of Jangle Bones, is a super awesome magic item.
Really
that
good.
I would love. Not even good, just super cool and flavor. What's the story of that? It's the kind of thing that you get in a game as a player, and you want to know what's the story of this thing. Like, what's the story of Sting? Right? Why does it glow when orcs are? I mean, it's because elves hate orcs. But you know, if you didn't know that, that would be a really interesting story to discover. You know?
And yeah, sort of just saying, I know you're can be squeamish about the lore, but it happened last year, so I thought it was fitting. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I love this. It's all stuff that did happen. It references real events.
That was more of a disclaimer for anyone, you know, in the future.
Yeah,
who does submit something.
Exactly.
You know, even if it's a great item, we might just throw it out.
Yeah, and I'm also not telling people like necessarily not to do that. Just keep in mind when you do that, it's going to be judged like more harshly in a lot of ways. Yeah.
That being said,
and that is everything, I do believe.
I think there are some numbers to change about that one, like the range and some stuff like that. But overall, I mean, we're in great shape right here for now. I can't find out how the hell I made it blue though, or how I made all the other ones purple. I don't, there we go. It wasn't showing up. All right, because the purple is just some minor rephrasing. Just putting those notes in there so that I don't forget for next. All right, those were some actually really great items, guys.
Yeah.
Very nice. I hope you guys are as excited about those items as we are. For no particular reason. Pete, you want to jump into our next segment, which
just to make sure it comes out, because there was one more item in the workshop if you're down to.
Yeah, sure.
A bone
what was
to
the
pick.
Other item?
It was a sword item, a bone to pick. A pickaxe fashioned of random bones and tendons. Although it's functional useless, its intimidating presence upsets creatures living and dead alike, as though you're taunting them with bones made of their kin. When held, you can use an action to taunt any creatures within 60 feet till the end of your next turn. 15 charisma save, otherwise the creature is taunted. Whoever created this abomination obviously didn't consider what he made it out of and quickly found himself on the receiving end of any creature alive or dead every time he brandished it. Just a couple quick notes. Taunt isn't technically a mechanic.
Not a mechanic in
not a keyword. So you'd want to like refer maybe to the spell.
Enthrall would be a good one.
What's the one I was looking for was Compelled Duel. Would be one.
That would also be a good one.
Yeah, I think that's the thing you want. But and the DC might be lowered, but yeah, I think it's pretty close. We can get that in there later on. So now, Jeremy, will you play the music?
We go on to our segment. You ready, Pete?
Yes.
Squeeze.
It
just played the thing. It just played the Ask Pete and Jeremy song.
Yeah. Hey, we're here. It's Ask Pete and Jeremy. We got some. We got a nice big old chunk of questions here. The first of which is from Farku, which is, why am I the best worst thing? And my answer to that is, I don't know, Farku.
Farku, you're the best worst thing because of.
Do you also not know?
Sneezy ghost.
A sneezy ghost. The bag of tricks and treats as well. The green or gray. If you punch a man in the face and his glasses break, does he take bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage?
I think it's pure bludgeoning. He takes bludgeoning.
He takes bludgeoning from your fist, and then the glass would deal slashing damage, probably.
Correct.
Yeah. The majority of us are confident that Bartholomew is a wizard, Maddie Morgs asks. Perhaps a little less confident that he's human. But what would his background be? Guild merchant? Sage? Charlatan? Then what about Roger? Folk hero? Or maybe even urchin? My answer for Bartholomew is... wizard. That is his background.
Yeah, for Roger, God, there's gotta be like an Acquisitions Incorporated background, like intern or something. I think that's Roger. There's gotta be something in I haven't read the Ac Inc. book yet. There has to be something in there for the degraded intern, and that's Roger. That's whatever it is, that's him. V-Bunny asks, Pete and Jeremy, will you please do the splits? I am not going to do a split.
I can't.
Nope.
I would, if I could, I would do it, but I can't, so I won't.
Farku asks,
oh, please.
Farku asks, what is too personal? I mean, something like very private about us, or like, you know, our phone number or home address.
Yeah, I was going to say address. Pete and Jeremy, what are your deepest rooted and darkest insecurities? Like, those are the kind of two general vibes that we'd rather not do. V-Bunny, will you please do a flip? And will you please do a barrel roll? I cannot flip. Barrel roll, no. Maybe, but there's no way I'd be able to get it on camera.
Yeah, not doing it. Green or Gray asks, SMR or Tiefling?
Tiefling.
This is a really hard question because I'm very drawn to both of them. My very first character, even in 3.5, my very first game was an SMR. And then I played a Deva like all through 4E. So I very much have an affinity for Aasimar, although I like them a little less in 5e than I did in previous edition. So I think I like the Tiefling more in 5e, although I have a personal affinity more for the Aasimar and the kind of angelic one.
I was just...
Plus, if Pete's the devil, I want to be the angel. Let's be real.
I was, while you were saying that, I want to came up with a Tiefling, make a strength-based monk Tiefling, named Zangiefling, for anyone who knows Zangief. Which candy did you, or still do you, hope to get in your trick-or-treat bags during Halloween? Do you ever trade with friends or siblings? Ooh.
Oh, boy.
I mean, the number one pick is Skittles.
Yeah. Okay, Pete, here's the real key. Are you a sugar boy or a chocolate boy? You're not a peanut butter boy.
Chocolate always is affiliated with peanuts, so it's always sugar.
I'm a sugar boy as well.
Yeah,
I would go for the nerds. Love nerds. Yeah, Skittles, like Pete was saying, are primo. You know, I'm okay with like Reese's, but you can't eat those. I'm okay with Crunch Bars. I don't know if you can eat those. But like the regular old Hershey's chocolate never really did it for me. So it'd be the peanut butter chocolates, or just give me a little pieces of sugar and I'll eat them. They have some flavor.
The Green Craig says edibles, duh. Yeah, candy's edible. That's what he means. Maddie Morgs asks, do you own 5, 7, or other interesting sided die? Do you?
I don't. I have actually an incredibly small collection of dice for what I, for me, being I won't say prolific dungeon master, but like, I DM a lot for you guys, and I DM a fair amount outside of the game. A lot of my DMing, especially recently, is online. And so, yeah, I don't have a huge collection of dice. And even from before, I'm much more about a small collection of like nice dice than a dice goblin. My girlfriend's a dice goblin. She just has overflowing volcanoes of dice. I don't understand.
As a prolific DM, no, I don't.
They call him Pete Mercer, I heard.
They call me Matt Pete. Does Philip Q. Janglebones wield any weapons? No.
This is the Forgotten Ones question.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. No, he does not. Oh my God, the questions are there's so many questions flowing in right now. So I'm going to say the question currently, do you want more Primo items from Farku, is the last question of the day. Before we get any further.
Shiny math rocks make click-clack noises, needs the more, all's the more. Yeah, that's not me. Crowley asks, what's your favorite jelly bean flavor, favorite candy, favorite chocolate candy? And then we'll ask the next question in a second. Jelly bean flavor, I like lemon. Lemon is good, is a very tasty thing. Favorite candy? Skittles, probably. Chocolate candy, Reese's or Crunch Bars. Pete.
For jelly bean flavor, I'm going to pick mango. For favorite candy, I am going to pick Nerd's Rope. And for favorite, you don't like Nerd's Rope?
Inferior nerds.
You think Nerd's Rope? Oh my god! Well,
I like nerds more than Nerd's Rope.
I'm not gonna hash this out. I love the combination.
Both great. I like Laffy Taffy and I like Nerds. I don't like them mushed together.
Laffy does not. But the thing is, it's not Laffy Taffy. It's a gummy.
But what if it were Laffy Taffy?
Then that would be gross.
That'd be incredible.
because Laffy Taffy is the hardest, most.
I'm with the green or gray. Wait a minute, mango?
I like mango. Yeah.
It's got to be lemon or lime, right? That's it. Those are the only good flavors. Teach their own.
See, favorite chocolate candy? I like Rolos probably because I can eat.
God.
I can eat them, Jeremy. I can't eat like any chocolate candies.
You see, Pete, this would be great if we had one bowl of candy that we had to share because you'd eat the ones I don't want and I'd eat the other ones.
Are you like Caramel Boy?
I'm not familiar.
No, caramel, like just the flavor of.
Oh yeah, I like caramel. Anyway,
what's the most interesting Halloween costume you've ever had? Do you not have yours?
No, I mean, all my Halloween costumes sucked.
My answer is the Charmander that I wore in elementary school. I went as Charmander. My mom made it for me from scratch. She sewed it from one of the kits. It was amazing. But the thing about it was that the tail, I was young and small, and the tail weighed as much as I did, and it was too heavy for me to walk around because the tail was massive and long and kind of stood up. So when I was trick-or-treating, my mom had to walk around with me, holding on to the tail so I could move.
That's amazing.
And that's my little
I do not
Halloween
have a story like that. I was a disco guy once. I had a big poofy hair and Technicolor clothing. That's all I got. And one of those porn mustaches. Anyway, moving on. Next question. Greener Ray. Boo! Thank you, Greener.
I got scared.
Farfel asked, hot dogs or hamburgers? Don't worry, I don't think James is here. Pete, what's your choice?
Hamburgers. Don't tell him. Don't let him know.
If I'm having just a generic burger or dog, burger every day. If I'm having a really high quality one, I'm going to go for the sausage, the good dog over a good
I mean,
burger.
if we're talking the Schnurble, because the Schnurble moves outside of the realm of a
it's not just,
of a hot dog almost. It's
if you're at a cookout and you're just having whatever's on the grill, you get a burger. Burger is going to be more consistent.
Yeah, really, you get both, but you get a burger.
But yeah, I think it depends on the quality. High quality on the dog scale is better. Low quality, you're going to have a lot better time with it, in my opinion. Sorko here asks, do you plan on doing any more Halloween creation live episodes? Interesting question. I heard people, and maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, that maybe we're going to be doing some more Halloween adjacent stuff in the future. And that maybe, we're going to get some help with some of it at some point.
Yep. You can look forward to, I mean, without, telling anything that we got coming on, it's Halloween all the way down. Until Halloween is over, it's all Halloween all the time. Spooktacular, scare-tastic, frights, scares, screams, shrieks. That's all you gotta know about.
Daily, I like it. I wore a slip and embroidered Freudian on it one year. Farku asks, how much free time do you have?
Some.
Yeah, not as much as I'd like, to be honest. Like, more than maybe I would think I do. Like, I probably actually have more free time than I realize I do, but it doesn't feel like I have much.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and then Farku also asks, do you have any weapons in real life? That's a really interesting thing, because, like, I've always kind of wanted to have, like, a cool, like, a sword or something. With me, no, and not in my apartment. Back at my home in Mass, I have an old 1870s saber from the Order of the Odd Fellows that I inherited from my grandfather.
Are we allowed to? Is it against Twitch's user policy to show a gun on a stream?
Probably, yeah.
All right. Well, then I won't turn my camera to the corner, but I have my grandfather's World War II Japanese assault rifle that he got in fighting in World War II.
Holy assault rifle!
Well, it's like an old one because it's World War II. It's not like a
Jesus.
It's not like it's a big old rifle. You can see where it has like the symbol of the chrysanthemum crossed off on it. It's crazy piece of history right there.
Wow.
And I got a bunch of swords. I have a replica of Gandalf's sword from the Lord of the Rings.
That's pretty hype.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. I used to collect them when I was younger. I haven't gotten anything new in a long time. But.
You see, my brother got my grandfather's Civil War musket, which I'm kind of annoyed about that he got. But, you know, it's fine.
And I have these.
Those guns?
Yeah. Crowley asks, if we could own any weapon IRL, what would it be? A tank.
I don't know. I'm not, like, super into weapons. Like,
Jeremy, a tank?
Yeah, I mean...
Come on, there's no question here.
That would backfire so hard. I'd run over someone's car or something.
You run over someone's car, but what the fuck are they going to do about it? You're in a tank, Jeremy. Are they going to come at you? It just seems like... Because if I picked helicopter or jet...
it's helicopter. I'd pick a helicopter. Never mind. I didn't realize that counts as a weapon.
But tank, I feel
I'd learn how to fly a helicopter. Thank you very much.
That's very difficult. I mean, fair enough. I would take the tank because I feel like...
What is your social security number?
And then crossed it out. Mine is 553983729.
If you win a Fable battle during Halloween event, do you get Bartholomew bucks squared? Asking for a friend. So once we're into October, and I'm just going to put this out there, Pete and I've talked about this, the boss battles and stuff kind of goes on hold for the legend stuff. All that goes on hold for the Halloween event.
Yeah.
All Halloween, all the way out come October. For our Friday the 13th event, no, it's still not squared, but it is doubled.
Which in this case is... No, it's not. Never mind.
All right. More personal questions from Farful.
Bank account number, mother's maiden name, color of my first car was gray.
Why do people visit Plymouth Rock?
God, if I know. Well, we do know, Jeremy. The answer is because they were promised something that Plymouth Rock is not. They were promised to look at American heritage and the birth of America, and what they got.
They look at a rock that was not the first rock, and it's really unimpressive.
A portion of a rock.
They look at a lie. An unimpressive lie.
Not going to bother with that one, Farku. Why is Plymouth Rock in a pit that the ocean can flow into and erode the rock? Wouldn't that be harmful to its preservation?
Not an important rock.
Yeah. What makes you crazy? What is the worst candy? Do you want more primo items? Oh, so these are the last three. What's the worst candy? I'll start there. Juicy fruit.
Yeah. Oh, God. Is that really candy?
Yeah, I mean, technically.
Do you consider that candy? I thought that was like...
It's marketed as candy, so I'm going to count it as such.
Yeah. I thought that was like Slim Jims. I thought that was on the same level as Slim Jims. Like, it's like, it's a quick snack. for
I've
your like
eaten-
adults who need food. I
And
didn't
not
think it was
the-
actually candy.
Not the gum, by the way. Juicy fruit gum is fine. There's also a candy, and that's very bad.
Jesus. All right. So yeah, I'm with you
What
on
makes
that. Right.
what makes you crazy?
Everything.
I'm sure there's some D&D answer that I could answer if it was happening to me, and I'd be like, no, this thing in D&D, but I can't think of it. And yes, was the answer to the question, do I want more primo items?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think what makes me crazy is Shadowfell despair if I spend too much time in the Shadow realm. Anyway, thanks everybody for all of your awesome questions and everything this evening.
I'm gonna give it to V-Bunny, even though I said it's the last one. We'll slide him on, because there is only one more. And it is, why does Philip Q. Janglebone sound like a 1950s newscaster? And the answer is...
That's the voice.
That's just his voice. It's very Skeletor inspired, for sure.
But yeah, thank you everyone for stopping by with this little item workshop fun stuff. I really love this kind of stuff, and I think we had a lot of really awesome items come through today. I'm really excited for, what we're going to do with these in the future and all that fun stuff. Without, going into too much detail, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Remember, we got on Friday, Pete and Jeremy's D&D time. If you have a Fabled Boss Battle ready character and haven't yet signed up, you might want to do that, because we're one away from a Fabled Boss Battle on Friday.
And it would be cool.
Yeah, and that'll be great. Besides that, D&D time on Friday is going to be a lot of fun. Pete and Jeremy's, we got 3 one-hour adventures featuring you guys. It's great. Sunday, D&D time Tales continues as we murder people, probably. Like 9 out of 10, we're going to kill people. And hopefully we get every one of these. But yeah, it should be a blast. It's been a fun adventure. The Black Hand so far. So
yeah, I think
in.
it's going well. I'm excited to see what you guys get up to next time.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And then what else? Well, I guess
future events. I will say, not this Friday, but a week from this Friday, there's a Legend Tier boss battle. Huge deal. Going to be a big show. I think it'll be a blast to watch. And come and cheer on our highest myth tier adventurers as they move on to the greatest and highest tier of D&D time play, the Legend Tier. It is quite a bit of fun.
And keep in mind, that means there will be no slots for games 2 and 3 next Friday.
Yes, so sign up now if you're trying to get in. That's a great point.
Only be story tier, only be game 1 adventure.
Yep.
On that next Friday. So really do keep that in mind when you go to sign up. Hopefully we'll be able to make the website actually look like that, but no promises yet. Just pay attention to our weekly notifications, because reading those, super important. We wouldn't want to miss any of your item submissions because you put them in the wrong place. We wouldn't want you to sign up for a game not realizing that it doesn't actually. So pay attention to those things, very important. And then Halloween's coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about Halloween. It's going to be a lot of, we got some great stuff planned this year.
Yeah, it is going to be rad AF.
All right. That's it. Thank you all for being here. We love you. I am Jeremy.
I am Pete.
And this is
DnDTime Brews. I missed the and this is.
God damn it.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.